So I'm going to try to put this in a sensible way. So this might seem like a woo-woo thing or out there thought. But during one of my meditations, after listening to somebody talk about this whole pattern of things that happen to you till you learn a lesson, there's certain things. So what she was sharing, she's a psychic and spiritual person, all that stuff. What she was talking about based on the question she was asked about karma, or there's a cycle of things that keep happening, right? So one of the things she was sharing was, universe, God, whatever, will present you with situations. This is something, also Peter Crohn's talks about. Universe will present you with situations to show you where you're not free. That's one thought, right? But the other thought is that things happen for a reason. Everything is cyclic. Everything is connected. Even if you go listen to someone like a Harimi, who is a scientist, but also spiritualist, he's broken down things and where things, everything is connected. So universe is a giant sequence of things. Or if you don't believe that, that's up to you, whatever you believe in, right? But there's nothing in life that is accidental. That I completely, truly have to come to believe. Everything happens for a reason. Either something is happening because a lesson is being taught to you, or something you created for yourself that's happening to you, whatever the case is. But in this particular case, the thought is, or what she was saying was, sometimes universe will give you a lesson. Somebody will come and give you the lesson because they are supposed to give you that lesson. And if you don't learn it the first time, then another thing will happen, or the same person might come back and give you the same lesson in a little bit harsher way. And the cycle will repeat till it becomes harsher and harsher if you don't learn it. So that's potentially one possibility. That's what she shared. And that kind of like essentially dawned on me, like, kind of like bulbs going off, like, oh, got it. So there are patterns that repeat in my life, things that happen. I kind of do the same mistakes. Evidently, I'm not learning. And then the next level is higher and higher. Maybe some of the stuff goes worse. And I've experienced some of those things, not always, but usually I guess I have learned most of the time, like one or two times, like sometimes being thick-headed, I guess first time I don't learn, maybe the second time or the third time I do. But there's some stuff I feel like I don't learn ever. Like they keep repeating. It's not huge things, but it's minor stuff. So that basically got me to think, because one of the things she shared was like, even like if you committed a horrible thing in a past life, and you might essentially be victim of the same thing in this life, because that's the karma you're fulfilling. Like, so the cycle is complete. So universe always finishes the cycle, however it happens. That's what she said, which kind of makes total sense. But what did I gain from that is basically is a somewhat of a peace for me, in the sense that I'm not saying, I'll be happy with whatever happens. I'll still resist. I'll probably get angry, all that stuff. Like that's normal. And that's nothing wrong with it. Whatever emotions I experience, I've learned to accept it, and to not dwell in it too much. But, I might react strongly on some things. That can always happen. But now this gives me I guess, a tool or a different way of thinking and seeing things when things happen, bad or potentially good. Or if I'm like, let's say, for example, I'm helping somebody and I don't gain anything from it, right? Or at least I think I don't gain anything from it. this kind of got me an aha moment, like, oh, this is a karma I'm fulfilling. This person might have done something for me a long time ago, so I'm compelled to help that person, he or she. And that's all there is to it. There's nothing I need to, that's when it got me to realize, like, hey, when things happen, when I help somebody and, don't have an expectation. If I was compelled to help somebody, I wanted to help somebody, I got the feeling to help somebody, that's it. You're done. Once you've done that deed, done, right? Now, this notion of fulfilling a karma or a cycle gives me that loop, like, maybe that's all it was. And maybe something else beyond. Maybe the person will come back in another time and give me back whatever is owed, I guess, because I gave them something. I guess eventually the cycle has to work and they might, I guess, help this life, next life, whatever, right? But the main important point I've realized is, hey, things will happen. I can help people, or somebody I might, I guess, maybe act like a jerk to somebody or be an asshole or whatever the case is, right? Maybe that's a cycle. Or maybe that person will be the asshole back to me this life or next life, right? Not that I like to be an asshole. I'm normally not, but it depends. You trigger me enough, I guess I can be. I can be. Not I can be. I can be, right? But so my main point of this is to people who think that, hey, why are things happening for me? Bad things, I didn't do anything bad. Maybe this is another way to look at it, right? That this is not about this life. This might be previous life. And maybe this life you experience bad things, even if you didn't experience, you didn't, put bad things on another person. Next life or so, you might be doing bad things to the person because everything has to be sum total zero, essentially. The universal laws. Everything has a cause and an effect, right? There's no like a net zero, eventually something will happen. So this is another way to think. So trying to essentially either play that victim card or be the aggressor, whatever the case is, remember, it comes to a full circle. So maybe avoid doing the bad thing if you can avoid it, right? If somebody's doing a bad thing to you, obviously you're going to react, and that's different. I'm just talking about purposefully doing something harm to an innocent person. And the same thing, somebody does harm to you, realize maybe it's a cycle, but maybe not this life, next life, they will suffer the same fate if you were innocent from the previous life. Anyway, it's a different way to think about it. Something happens to you that maybe always take it as a lesson. I kind of do that anyway now. I pretty much do that anyway now. Like always, maybe in the moment I might react, but then eventually I'll go back and like think about it and say, hey, what's it teaching me? Right? That's something I've started to implement since last year or so. I've learned to introspectively look at like, what is this teaching me? And what is universe trying to teach me in this moment or in this instance or through this person, whatever the case is, right? Anyway, those are my thoughts about the whole cycle of karma or cyclical nature of our soul. Well, hopefully that'll help somebody.